Hey everybody, clearing. Okay, so today I have a lot of decks here. I'm just gonna start shuffling and say my prayer. So thank you, Divine Creator. Swear my hair just tickles as soon as I start doing anything here. But thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What can we see for the twin collective, divine counterpart collective, divine masculines and feminines that join me here? What can we see in these connections at this time? I thought it'd be fun to show you my shuffling today. This is what I kind of see on my table. What can we see for? So the first deck I shuffled is going to be sort of the big picture. The second deck is how we are juggling between glass half empty, half full. This one is the intimate connection on all the chakra levels that we can get. Oh my goodness, my nose. Between the two in the union space. And this one is the energetic stuff playing out, the quantum, scientific, let's say the intangible, the templates, the frequencies, all that stuff. These two decks are going to be the masculine's energy. Thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of what the beautiful masculine polarity is experiencing regarding all of these energies. And what we can see for the feminines. I'm getting told number 3. So I listened to my intuition regarding how many shuffles we are getting for each. And I'm hearing a 2 for this one, and then I like to split the deck. There we go. Okay. Oh no, wants to go that way. Okay, so let's get into this crown chakra. What's happening on the conscious mind, or what's actually going on? Let's see. Yeah, the connections aren't going anywhere. There is a real stabilization coming in. And so right now there's, in the energy, it's just conducive to these connections being primary focus. And it seems to go beyond our control at this time, that these particular individuals that we are journeying with are the cutting edge for our growth. Whether we want them to be or not, it seems that they are the one that is offering the most framework for where we're at this time. How is the twin collective looking at this? 4 of Cups. So really looking at opportunities that have been lost. If we knew then what we know now, it would have been slightly different. It's like, why are these things still here? There's a higher reason, and this kind of combo right now is more of an earth-based perception and more of a contemplation in what is the big picture here? What is the grand plan? It's like it's pulling us up and out of what we think should have happened by now, one way or the other. And it's making us think. It's one of those kind of things that makes you go, What can we see in the intimate connection? Knight of Feathers. I'm going to show the card and then read it. Knight of Feathers. So this says, don't argue just for the sake of it or cover up your true desires. So there's something about the obvious continuation of the saga that is these connections that just won't let us cover up our true desires. It's like, but dial manifesting, or It's like, yes, on so many levels we want these things, but they just don't seem to make sense in other regard. And so we're really being asked to take this higher right now and to really look at what we really want. Don't argue for the sake of it. So, it's not because of this other person, it's because of what is relevant for each of us that makes these connections linger. They are relevant for you, viewer. And so that's why it's still in your reality. And so don't kind of delude yourself. Don't point the finger at the other person. There's something here that is your desire, and that is why it is in your energy. What do we need to know about this further? Seal of Venus, elemental magic, self-love, and protection. So these connections are protected until we come into enough love to go for and honor our desires. We're allowed to manifest anything that truly serves, that we desire in an unconditionally loving way. Those things must come in. Specifically, those of us who are dealing with deep, deep self-worth, we are learning that the gold on our heart is just cause to be able to believe we can receive exactly what our heart desires. And we are refining as such. That is why these connections, even if they haven't made sense initially or in every regard, why they're still there is because they are protected. They're in safekeeping until we have enough self-love that we can believe that we are worthy of them. They are our mutual desire, our mutual preference, even if it's counterintuitive. Okay, how are the masculines experiencing this? They're opening their mind about their 10 of Cups. This is their deepest emotional fulfillment. So I'm hearing, this can be very kind of rigid, like it has to come in a certain package. This is seeing that you, divine feminines, are what the masculines have asked for. Even if it wasn't in the container or in the timing or whatever it is that doesn't seem to be easy about the connections, it's still the answer to this ideal prayer. But the masculines are having to keep an open mind about it, or about some aspect of it. What can we see for the feminines? Knight of Wands and Two of Swords. Yeah, so feminines, this is beautiful because this is the answer to your prayer for what really would do it for you. But, this is an inside job, not to block it, not to close off to it, not to give up, not to tell yourself you're not worthy. And so this is follow your bliss, follow your passion, stick with it if this is what you want. This is teaching you to include this masculine aspect. So that's kind of interesting because this allowance is a feminine trait that the masculines are opening to. Instead of taking an action that is deliberate, they are allowing what actually is to come in. And feminines, you are actively opening to passion, taking action towards your passion by not kind of closing off and just submitting to what the appearance of what you think is. There is a rising up to the challenge kind of energy here. It's going towards what you want to receive energetically. That's not the same as chasing. What I'm getting here is that you're just acknowledging your passion, which feels like a action, rather than being at the mercy of what you think is available to you. There is an acknowledgement of this specific person being your desire. Okay, what can we see on the third eye chakra? What's going on in the cosmos? Transition. We got this yesterday. So there is a major transformation happening right now where everybody's going towards the light of what they truly want. What is the back and forth happening? Nine of Wands, this perseverance, there does seem to be a little bit of a pause in the energy, a taking stock, sitting there wondering if it's going to play out the way we think. I'm getting this impression of soul searching at night, looking up to the night sky possibly, or in bed at night thinking about, will this period end? Will it smooth out? There's a little bit of a melancholy, a little bit of a longing, a little bit of loneliness I can see in that card, because we will never be so apart, separate in the physical again once we come into these unions. It's sort of like that spaciousness that's a bit eerie because it doesn't feel quite right. That means we're losing the necessity for that degree of spaciousness. It's starting to be less relevant to be in spaciousness than to come together, everybody. That's beautiful. And our intuition is being tipped off to that because we're getting closer to the light, we're getting closer to the truth. This spaciousness feels more abstract or less natural than coming back home. I'm getting this lost out in the woods at night kind of feeling and desiring the comfort of home. How beautiful. Four of Candles, that's the Four of Wands, the 1111 card, but it's in the inverse. Let's take a look. Interlude. Dun, 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 dun. Will I find the page? Okay, Four of Candles in the inverse. Don't slack off now. Protect and maintain what you've created. There's still much work to do. So this is a nudge saying you are manifesting this, and there's more work to do. There's more work to bring yourself into home, into the light, into alignment. What is the Seal of Metatron? Form, structure, foundation, cosmology. So there's still more of a foundation in our own right. We still have to get ourselves out of the woods, I just heard. So whatever that means to you, keep going forward, knowing that it's your rite of passage to get you there. So what can we see for the masculines? Okay, investing in the friendship. So masculines, there's still some work to do. Going towards the light in these connections. This is you using your intuition to establish a more solid show of friendship, a more invested energy into the connection so that there is a free flow of emotions here. And for the feminines, Ace of Wands, Six of Pentacles. So this is you coming into more service, more inspired action in your own right, less leaning on your masculine for intimacy, for passion, focusing on your own life purpose and service right now. This is giving to yourself what you wish your masculine was giving to you, so that when they are developing this increase of friendship, that it's like icing on the cake, that you're not in need of it, but it is a blessing nonetheless when it happens freely. And so you're letting go of the expectation, you're focusing on self, you're building self here. You're giving to yourself in the way that you have been conditioned to think that you need to have from other. We can be interdependent, we need that, but where it's filling a void, that's not healthy, that's codependent. So this is you taking care of your own inner stability, which does have to do with deepening life purpose and finding more inspired things to do day to day that really fill up your own bucket, like thinking positive, appropriate thoughts, being creative, doing the things you love to do, even if your masculine isn't there doing them with you at this point. This is where the pressure to be more than friends is off, and they can come in and establish a baseline, a foundation that hasn't yet fully been established the way that it needs to have the longevity that we're being shown as possible here. Okay, what can we see for the throat chakra? Next level stuff. So we are going to be talking about innovative solutions, ideas, game plan, collaborations, things that have come up for each that are beyond the mundane are going to start being spoken about in our own lives, but together as well. There are new, more workable solutions for things that are a necessity. I'm hearing career related, living situation related, relationship related, anything that this journey has inspired each to come up with unusual alternatives for the norm, that's going to come to the forefront. What are we juggling here? Okay, we've got the Fool. So we've got it in the sort of, I'm hearing fly by night or panic mode. There are some circumstances for one or both or the dynamic where there's a little bit of necessity coming to the forefront. There's some circumstances where there needs to be some quick action, or there's a sense that there is a need for quick action. The Fool isn't just lollygagging here. There's the Fool on the run. So things are happening quickly. So these innovations might be coming in quickly, or the communication about things may be coming in quickly. So I would say resist the temptation to make rash decisions. But if you are poised to make certain decisions kind of like that, allow for the possibility that certain things are going to come in pretty fast right now. What does this mean for the intimate connections? Strength. So overcoming the devil energies. So whether that means putting to rest some of the things that make it feel too urgent or too big, or putting down the fear that you can't handle certain things that seem to be a necessity to move fast with at this point. But let's see what the Strength card has to do with this. A couple have set up a polarity to generate and control their sexual tension and release. This card is not for the faint-hearted. Traditionally, it has represented the channeling of baser lusts into a higher purpose. Okay, so we're getting some pressure here. Sexual tension and release. So some of these innovations that are bred of necessity are coming in between the counterparts here to control and manage sexual tension and release, and to get to know each other on that level is what I'm hearing. The rough and the refined energies strengthen each other in an erotic sparking of opposites, human and animal, feminine and masculine, body and mind. Beyond these cultural distinctions, you still need to respect your own true natural self and that of others so that you express yourself in joy and solidarity. Okay, so even when the going gets quick, this is saying that masters can handle it, and that this can be an interesting time of joy and solidarity in the dynamics. So this is communication. This is thinking on our feet. This is also connected with the sexual tensions. Do what the lady says. Heed and express your true nature. Your lover should also be your ally. Trust your instincts. Feel the magic of flow. So there's a sense of teamwork and synergy also coming in. But do what the lady says. This is talking about the feminine having more of a voice, and the masculines now getting to open the door for the feminine's perspective here. I'm getting with the Fool that this may come as a surprise, that the masculines have done some things behind the scenes that are going to give you a fast-moving opportunity to share your take on it or your preferences, feminines, and that to some degree you're going to find some motion forward with that, where you thought doors were closed or things maybe were not at that stage yet. Your masculine may surprise you with opening some kind of flow of energy here beyond where you thought your connection was at. What else can we see here? Portals, possibilities, and options. Yeah, there's a door opening. There's an allowance here. The masculines are about to allow the feminines some access in some way. So what are we seeing here? bravery. So it's going to take bravery on the masculine's part to put down this control, put down manipulation, put down unduly withholding, and to allow something to come in here that the feminines will have more say in the dynamic than they have been permitted by the masculines being standoffish in the past. So yeah, feminines, there's something here that's possibly going to take you a little off guard. So make sure you're not doing something or saying something or going along with the masculines in a way that you think that you are doing what they want. This is a time to be thinking on your feet, feminines, and very much offer your truth, your authentic truth, because whatever this is foundational, and it's an opportunity you won't get again, is what I'm hearing. Wow, so we do have the Magician in the upright to mirror the Magician in the inverse for the masculine. So this is like ladies first, ladies turn. There's something that the masculines are allowing the feminine to take the lead in here, but it's like in ballroom dancing when the masculines showcase the feminine doing an action, like a spin like that. So this is giving the feminines a way to further release the past. The Five of Cups is a mourning card, or letting go of the past. It's the change that happens when we release things of the past, particularly in the romantic emotional department. So this is giving the feminines a way forward, an opportunity that helps them get a headway with karmic situations or things that haven't worked out in the past. The masculines are seeing that they're going to give the feminine an opportunity here. And you're going to hear about this, feminines. Wow, that's a huge message, actually. That's getting real, isn't it? What can we see on the heart space? So there's some transparency coming in. This is letting it unfold naturally. It's what I'm hearing here is that this person, the wind came in, one of the elements, the winds of change. She's juggling, she's busy, but her robes have been removed, and there's more transparency out of, you know, just the natural flow of elements. There's been some exposure here. And so that's what I'm feeling in this communication piece, is that the masculines have suddenly seen that it's worth the risk. Something with the feminine is worth the risk. The winds of change have come in. So what can we see on the heart space here? There's the Magician in the inverse again. So I'm getting that this is almost like an emperor dropping control and realizing, oh, what did I just hear? The emperor wears no clothes. What is that? That fairy tale where the emperor is naked or something and thinks that they're wearing clothes. There's something about the false pretense that we can't really safeguard ourselves and hedge out change, that it's inevitable. And so it's like almost futile to fight it. There's something on the heart space that we're being aware of our fragility, or life being too short, or just going towards the love without the pretense, like just allowing the natural process and the elements of this journey to have its way with us, and not be up in ego thinking we have to micromanage, or that we've got it all figured out, or that we have to be perfect. Six of Roses. So this is a card of reciprocity. We already got it once for the feminines, when we are meant to be giving ourselves what traditional relationships have suggested we can only get from a masculine. But the Six of Roses here is, be careful not to desire more than you can handle. So we're being brought into understanding the happy medium. We are meant to desire some quality of experience, but we're not meant to bite off more than we can chew or get ahead of ourselves. We're meant to find our inherent balance point, the middle path. Very much getting that middle path. And so if we ask for too much, we'll be let down, is the message here. So on the heart space, our heart knows where that balance point is. What can we see for the energetic? enthusiasm, learning, generosity, and fortune, chamber of exhilaration. So this is not saying that we need to hold back, but we need to be practical, grounded, precise in what we are actually navigating. We shouldn't be careful. We should be careful to not desire more than we can handle. That means be grateful for what we can access right now. Pardon me. Don't get ahead of ourselves. What is it the masculines are experiencing? Yes, their own intuitive knowing of this long-term stable, this is like the slow and steady energy on the heart space, that they are really taking to heart what is compassionate at this time, what is mercy, humility, what is practical, what is available. And that means not withholding for fear that it's going to be too much. This is actually realizing that if we keep our wits about us, this long-term success can be accessed and we can start building towards it now. It doesn't have to be reserved for a time in the future when it can all magically appear without effort. We've got to work towards it, but it doesn't happen overnight. What are the feminines needing to see here? Yes, investing, and the Five of Pentacles, that you've been investing in getting to know what is warranted, beneficial in the physical. So I'm specifically hearing regarding codependent relationships. Wow, keep getting some breathy coughing here. So there's a need to really think more before these conversations are coming up about just seeing where things can go without getting ahead of ourselves. Like, don't tell yourself, oh, here we go, this is the be all end all. Take it down some notches and know that nothing that you engage in is a forever energy, that you don't have to be bound. Don't bind yourself into things emotionally, mentally, or physically prematurely or when they're not warranted, but don't hold back from going towards things just because you've never experienced them before, if that's where your focus is leading you. Because you are manifesting things if you're being drawn in certain ways, but you don't have to go more quickly towards those things or have them develop faster than they need to if it's not something that you're comfortable with or familiar with. You can increase your understanding. So this is just, keep your wits about you and enjoy. Beautiful. So what can we see for the solar plexus? Unconditional love, empowerment. And so just knowing that it's not about right and wrongs, it's not about, at this stage with these dynamics, it's not about worrying about who's going to be advantaged or disadvantaged. This is about those win-wins coming in. The Hierophant. So learn from the past. Know that this is a spiritual connection, but there are still loving ways of handling it, and then lower vibrational ways of handling it. And so if we are not, filling up our own cup first person, that can be still draining. Even if it's with the right person, we still have to honor ourselves. You can't just throw in caution and put the other person first. You have to have unconditional love of self and other, or even the best things don't feel good. 8 of Roses. This is the card of specialization, and we saw that one already with the masculines having gotten to a place where they can see some innovative ideas coming in and share those and offer the feminines an opportunity in safety. But what can we see here? 8 of Roses. Routines are harder to break if we enjoy them. So there are still things that we are familiar with that we are all being asked to let go of. False sense of happiness. I'm hearing that the progressive happiness is going to be more fulfilling than some of the things that we fall back on. Let's get an energetic card for that. Impeccability, advancement, and loftiness. This came out in the inverse, and I'm getting that there are still things that we think are good for us each, that we are doing that still can be refined, that just stem from health. So I'm actually hearing that it has to do with moderation. This all or nothing stuff. It's not just an extreme perfectionism, that imperfection can be the real perfection, and that when we are too rigid with certain things, control, dogma, extreme, over specialization, that excess can be inappropriate, even if it's well-meaning. So on the solar plexus, we're getting a sort of enough is enough, or we're finding a cap on how specialized we need to be in some regard. Now, the solar plexus is our physical chakra, so that can be too much of a standard with achievement in some way, action taking, physicality, physical fitness, ambition, finances, things that feel like we have to be the best or the elite in some regard to be worthy. That is being considered here, that unconditional love doesn't demand that we have to be the best at something. We just have to be authentic. So for the masculines, there's a brand new cycle coming in where some of the old thoughts where you thought you needed to excel in certain regards, you're going to be letting go of some of that and seeing that you were already good enough already. What can we see for the feminines? The Star and the Seven of Pentacles. So this is investing in self with the destined path. I'm hearing patience. So you don't have to be further ahead than you think you need to be in this union, that you are right where you are meant to be, and that it has been creating an investment in self that has placed you exactly where you've needed to be on your star path of destiny. And if you don't know what the benefit of the journey has been, it's time to drop in and ask yourself, how far have you come from a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Can you see how much more whole, balanced, conscious you have become? And masculines, this is about letting go of the overdoing, overachieving, and just really being tender with self, that you are good enough, whole enough, beautiful enough already. And this is a new level of self-love embodied, that you haven't, your standards have been too high for yourself in the past, and now you've proven you could reach some of those standards. Just saw 33 to 22. Now the novelty can wear off a little bit. You don't have to be so rigid or hard on yourself, or to hold yourself to such rigorous standards. You can soften a little bit and mourn some of the reasons you thought you had to be so perfectionist in certain regards. What can we see for the sacral chakra? Abundance. So this is the alchemical synergy coming in for chemistry. This is where the connections in a tantric sense have balanced out and found the harmony. This is where we can meet in the readiness to come together. Yeah, here's that same Ace of Pentacles. So it does sort of have to do with the masculines letting go of perfectionism right now, the masculine overachiever. I'm seeing the herd of all the masculines, and how the masculines have each thought they needed to stand out in the crowd, and in which ways. This has to be released, masculines. It's not your physical appearance. It's not your achievements. It's your soul, how much you love, how much you have self-love and have unconditional true love for others. And so there's a little bit of a pause while the masculines let go of certain things that are superficial, that are from trauma, that have caused them to think they've needed to overdo certain aspects of themselves for worthiness purposes. 10 of Feathers. What can we see for that? The battle has been won. Expect a huge release of pent-up energy in your heart and body. Yeah, so masculines, you have reached the worthiness, and likely you've exceeded it a bit. It's like you've been so ambitious in some regard that, and your standards have been geared on perfectionism, that you have already reached that marker. And there is now, like, the marathon has been run, and now you can let the pressure, you can decompress now. How are the energetic? Spiritual strength, virtue, and valor. So we have reached a certain degree of righteousness that can be focused on rather than material realm situations. What can we see for the masculines here? Burden can go away. Tune into your feminine's love for you, the already accessible, complete, unconditional love that you have in your telepathic shared space masculines, because your Empress here feels so much love, and you've already proven yourself to your Empress. Your potential, you've already reached it, and now it's about ending the burden together through this shared space. What are the feminines? 4 of Wands, yeah, union, and 3 of Swords. So this is your ride or die, feminines and masculines. So this is, we can get through anything together now. We've both proved our stamina, our resilience, our innovation, our heart, our integrity, our honor, our authenticity. There's a real acknowledgement that each have tried out the things that they've needed to in their own right, and they have seen each other and themselves worthy. On some level, there's not much more to do independently to get to know ourselves, is what I'm getting from this. And there is a real reconciliation of this sacral creative energy. It's like there's not much more room to go independently before it becomes relevant to collaborate and design together and to blend forces, to empower through teamwork here, because we've independently seen what we're made of. That's cool. What are we seeing on the root chakra? End of burden. We got that back to back. The 10 of Wands, the burden. But the Ace of Wands here, this is life purpose, inspired next level living. What are we waffling on? 2 of Pentacles. So here's somebody kind of going it alone. If they had a team player, they would have hacky-sacked that back and forth and been fine. So yeah, it's like next level stuff as far as these connections are concerned. There's a need for team player to take things to the next level, or to add the next relevant lessons and growth in. It's going to take 2. It's time. We've amassed our own torch, we've lit our own flames, and now it's time to have those flames burn brighter together. What is the intimate card? Ace of Feathers. So this is the truth. That's the Ace of Swords. It's going to be a huge, big win, big plan, big love. Yeah, so this is where 2 masters can come together. You've got the right idea, so follow your instinct and be decisive. So this is that fast-moving new motion coming in. What is the foundation here? Universal understanding, objective observation. So this is 2 people being able to get back from it and not be in attachment, and be able to clearly, with mental sobriety, be able to choose and collaborate things that are truly win-win. How are the masculines experiencing this? This is their half of the energy contributing to this long-term success and legacy. So the masculines are literally seeing it's been a tandem effort all along. Everything that's happened behind the scenes has been working towards this plan all along. We got that kind of message that it's these building blocks in real time. It's not just, you know, in waiting for one day when it can be all or nothing. It's a now kind of motion. The time is of the essence. The time is now. And the Chariot for the feminines, moving forward. This is the deepest truth. There's a readiness in the energy. Bring it on. Bring it on. It looks like the masculines are going to invite the feminines to go forward here. What can we see for the feminines? Fierce love. Vulnerability as strength. Establish healthy boundaries. Love regardless of reciprocation. Have integrity in all interactions. Everyone is doing their best with the tools they have. Transmute fear into love. This came out in the inverse, or sorry, on the neutral. So for some, the person that you're watching this for is not going to be the person that meets you in your progressive energy. For many, the person you're watching this for will. But right now, love regardless of reciprocation, meaning don't take it personally and don't disintegrate if you don't see the progress this reading is talking about with the person that you're watching it for right now at this time. Keep going and know